In the fiddle yard, I had a lot of points which were really close to the edge of the baseboard, and this meant that a standard Peco point motor would foul the frame. So I decided to 3D print and fabricate a whole lot of offset point motors which would step them away from the edge of the frame, and this is how I went about doing it. This also gave me the opportunity to revamp some point motors which had short rods and different size rods. So here's how I went about it. Quick mention of other projects I'm working on. I'm currently drawing up and intend to 3D print a bogie wagon, a signal gantry with 3 aspect and route indicator on it, a Fowler 7F 080 using a Airfix tender, and a Class 129 self-propelled parcels van. Back to the point motors. Started with a simple rectangle and drew up a standard Peco mounting plate. At one end I extended it out, moved the holes, tidy up the drawing, radius the corners to make it nice and neat, and then started to extrude it out. It's a very simple operation, there's not much to this. And then we need to push the holes down, so leaving the spaces to fold over your tabs. Then I removed a round slot into which I was going to put a piece of K&S brass tube with a bit of piano wire in it, and that was pretty much it. The drawing was very straightforward. Onto the 3D printer software, export it and chuck it on the 3D printer. Off it goes. There you go, finished item, pop it off the bed. That's it on one side, there's the underside of it. And then the next thing was to make a little kind of anvil in order to remove the actuator rods from the old point motors. And then I set them up in a jig and then tapped the little mandrel, and 9 times out of 10 they popped straight out. Some of them a bit troublesome and ended up getting drilled out. As I say, some were small diameter, some were bigger diameter. Here's a few of them lying on the desk. Next bit was to cut a piece of brass tube on a piece of 1.6 diameter piano wire, mark 40 off, then mark 10mm longer than the brass tube, then an additional 40 off. Then with a pair of stout cutters, cut the piano wire down to the correct length. At the first 40mm line, we put a bend in it, and then, very important, slide the brass tube on now, and then do a reverse bend in the opposite direction. This then fits up through the point motor base, and then through the hole in the point motor itself, and we can slide it down and seat it as you would in a normal point motor mounting. Onto which I put a switch to provide me with feedback to the mimic board, and wired the point motor in a conventional way. I used my favourite 6-core wire here again, 3 for the point motor, 3 for the switch. There they are installed under the baseboard, real tight up to the edge of the frame. A good outcome. I managed to revamp a lot of old point motors, saving me about £6.50 a shot for new ones, and seeing that I was doing nearly 60 in the end, it saved me quite a lot of cash. In order to power up these point motors, I got a couple of Gagemaster CDUs from eBay, cost me less than £5 each, and powered them from a dedicated transformer, provided me with 20 volts AC. I got that from RS Components. All of this was coupled back to a new mimic board which deals with one end of the storage yard. There's another one for the opposite end. It's very handy having the feedback lights because some of the points are hidden under scenic areas or in the spirals. Just a few more points to connect into the Mimic board and one more board to make for the other end of the storage yard. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, subscribe and ring the bell for notification. See you next time. Bye.